5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's what you've been waiting for. The Rebirth with your hosts, Shay Marriott and Eli Isabel.
Good evening and welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Shay Marriott.
And I am your co-host, the one and only, yeah boy, Eli Isabel, a.k.a. the South Got Something to Say. Happy Monday, Shay.
Happy Monday and
What's
welcome
goody?
back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Took
welcome.
a little slight vacay,
Yeah, man.
little sick day, a little PTO.
You left me with all that energy last week.
But guess what? You held that thing down.
Thank you.
You held it down.
Appreciate it.
And just so y'all know, here at the Rebirth and Philly Jams 95.3, they are a great employer. I was paid for last Monday. The PTO came in handy, baby.
Oh my God, you're so smart.
What's good, Shay? How was your weekend?
My weekend was absolutely great. It was great. I needed to be restored,
Oh,
refueled and all of that
Yes.
good stuff. And I definitely was able to do that. So first of all, last week was a busy week. Shout out to again Meshach Stennett.
Yes.
We attended his birthday party for a
Shaq.
little bit. It was very, very nice, Meshach. Happy belated birthday again.
Yes.
And that was a great time. And then Saturday for me, I was able to step outside of the tri-state area a little bit. And I
Ow.
went to go see Sarah Jake Roberts, the Hope Revival Tour. And let me tell you,
That's TD, baby girl.
listen, yes. I mean, it definitely was a great experience. First of all, I've never been in a church that size. It was
Where
huge.
where were you exactly?
I don't even know. I don't know where I was.
What's the name of the church?
I don't know what the name of the church
Oh,
was.
you ain't went
I
nowhere.
didn't get the tickets.
You ain't went nowhere.
I did not get the tickets. My assistant Jim Marshall, she got the tickets, and so she was in control of where we was going, where we was staying. I just sat back and relaxed. She drove,
Okay.
and I needed that because I was exhausted, like mentally, physically. I was just drained, and sometimes you got to know when it's time to shut
Right.
down for a minute.
Right.
Because if you're a person that gives so much to others, the giver needs to be given sometimes,
true.
And I definitely was refueled at that conference. But before we got to the conference, Jen, we went to this place called Poppy Cuisines. Have you eaten there before?
I've never heard of it.
Man, let me tell you.
What's
it
the
was
location?
Good. I knew where I knew where that was. That was in Baltimore. That was in
all
Baltimore. It was so
What kind of food is it?
Well, it's black owned, but
Okay.
it wasn't
Typical-
soul food,
Okay,
right?
all right.
So we just did a bunch of appetizers. So we did they had these crab egg rolls. What else did we do?
That sound good.
They had wings, of course.
Right.
But they were like they were Old Bay wings, but with like a honey garlic glaze on them.
Oh God, let's go there now.
They were so good, I had a drink called the Hennessy Splash. I had
Ooh.
had two of those.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And you weren't driving, right?
But I was not driving, So it was a great time, and the shrimp, everything was just really, really good. So
I gotta give me a gin. I need an armor bearer too.
And
Shit,
listen,
that's what they
at
do out
tw-
here in these streets. Drive you around and set the resume. Man, what am I doing wrong?
At 12 o'clock, okay, at 12 o'clock, this place was packed. It was packed at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That tells you all you need to know about it.
Yes, it was packed. So,
Poppy Cuisine.
Poppy
Be more.
Cuisine. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so
what's up.
After that, we prepared ourselves to go to the. Well, after we kind of relaxed a little bit, we prepared, and the Hennessy was out my system. We prepared ourselves to go to the Hope Revival Tour, and it was, I mean, it was jam packed. No room, no seat empty.
Was this more of a? Was this geared toward more so toward women?
Yeah. But
Okay.
it was definitely some men in the building. But it was a great time. It was a great time. I had a wonderful time. I walked
What's
away.
one thing you learned at the Hope Revival Tour?
You know what? So it's interesting that you said that.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I recognized for myself
Yes.
is that the journey that I have gone through, like a lot of the things that she was talking about, and even when she had asked us, she said, turn to your neighbor and ask your neighbor, what is it that you hope for?
Okay.
Right? And the lady next to me, she said, peace. And I said, that's what I said, friend. I said, And I couldn't tell her what I hoped for, right? I couldn't, because I was in a space where I remember when I was hoping for peace.
Wow.
And I have peace. I would remember when I was hoping for happiness, and I have that. You
Wow.
know, I remember when I was hoping for confidence and self-love, and I have that. So my takeaway was God has brought me so far in
Right.
my own journey that when I got there, it was like a reminder of where I was and where I am now.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I'm saying? So it just was like, oh my gosh. So the question was actually asked again by a different lady that was there. Dr. Anita Phillips, I believe was her name. And she told us to do the same thing, but this time I looked at Jen. And
What did she?
she was like, what you hoping for, friend? And she didn't even tell me what she was hoping for, because there was another lady next to her that she didn't know that had her buddied up. But so this time I said to her, I said, confirmation. And that's all I needed to say. I said confirmation. And when I walked out that building, what I needed to be confirmed was confirmed
Wow.
for me.
Wow.
You know? So it was a great experience. I'm actually thinking about going to the Woman Involved, which is happening in Arlington, Texas.
Is that hers?
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe it was the one that TD Jakes used to do, Woman Thou Art Loose, the big conference, but I
Okay,
think it's
yeah.
called Woman Evolved now.
Okay.
So she's over that, and that's going to be in Arlington, Texas. The weekend of my birthday, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So maybe this year me and my girls maybe go turn up for Jesus instead of
All right.
how we turned up last year.
Won't you
Amen.
do it?
How
Let
was
him
your-
use you.
right. How was your weekend?
My weekend, it's like cheer season, competitive cheer season. So
Mm-hmm.
every weekend we're on the road for cheer competition. So I'm just out here trying to be the best cheer dad I can be
Okay.
and enjoy, these last couple of the kids in 10th grade.
Right.
This school year is basically over. Like spring break is around the
Wow.
corner.
Wow.
Then we have 11th and 12th grade, and then
Right.
I'm really close to not having an empty nest, and that
Listen.
low key freaks me out a little bit.
Listen,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel you. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
My oldest is graduating in June. And my youngest is right behind him next year. So
Back to
no.
back.
I feel you,
Yeah.
friend.
So I just really try to take in all of these moments, even when she and I are like, today I took her to the orthopedic doctor. She had to get some physical therapy for her.
Yeah, how's she doing?
She's doing good. But it's just like these little moments where we just get to hang out and talk and laugh,
Right.
and I get to see how funny she is and how
Right.
mature she's become, and she has me cracking up, and it's just like I just take those in. I don't know. I think she's just being herself. She has no idea how much these moments mean to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm just out here trying to enjoy being a father.
And they mean a lot to her too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't doubt
they
that.
do.
But
You
yeah,
know, you're
I'm
her
just-
hero.
I know. She told me that one time. I
Shout
was
out
like,
to Helly Rose. I
girl.
love her. She is I just love her. I
My
do.
cape got all kind of holes in it. the elastic stretched all out. It's all good though. I'm still a hero.
I just caught the hose part. That's why I looked at you
Oh.
like that. I had to like rethink. I had to think about what you were saying. Yeah.
Somebody, I don't know, is your phone?
It was my
playing?
laptop. It was loud.
Get yourself together over there.
Yeah.
You know, went down and saw Sarah Jakes. Now you're up here playing
I
your phone
know.
and the laptop.
I know.
Too much going on in here.
So once again, welcome to the Rebirth, guys. I hope you guys had a great week. Thank you for joining us. I know you could be anywhere else, but you chose to be with us, and we really appreciate that. Shout out to Jen Marshall that's listening. Shout out to Stefanski.
What up, Jen?
Hi, Stefanski. I love when she tunes in. She doesn't get a chance to tune in that often because she is a flight attendant. So thank you for
what's her name? Oh, Safansi.
Yes.
I got it.
Stefansia.
What's up with them tickets, Safansi? I need to trying to go somewhere.
You know what?
But listen. Let me tell you this. Then we'll get it rocking. Guess what I purchased yesterday?
What's that? Portable sauna.
Oh, I got that. I already had that. I got that a week ago.
Oh, you did get it.
Yeah,
Did you get in it?
I've been in it twice.
How you like it?
I love it. I feel so relaxed. But I'm only good for about 10 to 15.
That's it.
Yeah, right now I'm a starter. I'm just gotta take my training wheels
I
off.
started off at an hour.
And that's why your ass like the fans don't. There you go. You gotta leave a little water in your body. You can't get it all flushed out.
Right.
In one session. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So listen, not that. I purchased Quran. Why are you looking at me like that? What's with the laughter?
I'm okay. I'm just waiting for you to okay.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
Why y'all, cause I don't go to church, y'all think I don't have no. So listen, I'm gonna tell you what made me do this.
Okay.
So I was watching the documentary Stand with Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a former NBA player who he's from Mississippi. He was like the bomb, and he converted to Islam when he was in the NBA, and he was really the first person to like he wasn't standing doing an anthem back in them days.
Right.
So you know the whole story about him. So, and he was just talking about how much that Islam brings, how it's such a peaceful thing, contrary to how people make you believe it is, and you know they go straight to the whole terrorist thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't read the regular Bible. I got a King James up there with dust on it. Let me go on and see what this Quran hitting for, and just see what's going on. So yeah, I purchased the joint. I'll be getting back to you.
Okay.
If I come in here in a couple of weeks with the little joint on.
With your name changed?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I might have a feather in mine because I'm still from the South. We got to keep it player in all things that we do, even with Allah. So yeah, but anyway, so that's I appreciate.
Okay. All right. Well, I love to hear like
I'll be in here.
Some of the things that you learned that you took away, and
I will be.
Maybe some comparisons that you can make for us, and all of that.
Well, I will have to get back to reading the other Bible to make the comparison. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna rock with the one at a time.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm waiting. It should be here March the 1st.
Wow.
Because I don't have Prime. So I got a little delay on my thing, but it's coming. I'm good for 4 days.
Okay.
All right.
All right. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch my journey.
So was that your right here, right now?
That was not. It could have been though. So my right here, right now. Let's hit that real quick.
All right.
Let's get that done. All right. Welcome to Right Here, Right Now. Y'all here on the Rebirth as we sit here really quick and discuss a current event. Nick Cannon, who I actually really, really like. I think Nick Cannon, like when I know we give people like, some people do, give people like Nick Cannon and Tyler Perry a hard time. They call them corny. What they're doing, they're kind of counterculture. But in my mind,
Listen.
yes.
They be called corny all day, but you realize how much money them brothers making.
And but even on more than that, the amount of people they put on.
Yeah.
So anybody who puts on for his people, the way that Nick does, how can you hate that?
Right.
So that to me, if you're bashing him, then that's some self-hate. However, Nicholas, in all his greatness, Nick says that he will stop having kids when God decides it's time for him to stop having kids. So Nick recently had his 12th child back in December. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around that. So he says he'll stop having kids when God decides it's time. God decides when we're done, but I believe I definitely got my hands full. Say less, bro. He told Entertainment Tonight, and I'm so focused and I'm locked in. 12 kids.
12. Yeah.
And so people say, well, he can take care of them. Financially, absolutely he can. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. How do you do that? And I'm not knocking them. Do what you do, brother. But how do you do that? How do you give as a father to that many children? And they're not all under one roof. It's
Right.
hard if they're even under one roof.
Yeah. The thing about this whole thing is the interesting piece of this. They had like a tree of all the women and the kids and how many he had. Now I think this last one was with the woman that lost.
He had a loss.
that-
Yeah, he
that-
did.
Yeah, the baby passed away.
Mhm.
So, but because it's so close, I'm like, well, do we really have a relationship with the women? Or he's just like, yo, let's have a baby, and then he move on. Like some of the women I could see where he was with, there was
Right.
a relationship. But because they were so close in age with the kids, it's like, I'm more curious about the women. Because, women could be,
Right.
you know,
Obviously, they're all okay with it, though.
that's what I'm saying. Was there really a emotional
For,
connection
for
or was
him
this
or them?
being paid?
Is there an emotional connection for him with these women, or for
Right.
them, all of them with
Well,
him?
for both. I mean, with them to
I
him.
mean,
with
so-
him to them.
I've had back in the day 2, 3 women I messed with at a time, and some people only get. I'm saying back in the day when I was a youngster. I'm 50 now. We going back. We all did it. All my players out there,
Go ahead.
hit some likes. Let me know I'm not by myself.
Let me like.
Pimping ain't easy out here. But listen, but listen, back then you cannot emotionally give yourself to all. Somebody gets this part of you, that heart, and then 1 or 2 of them might not get that. I'm wondering if there's someone that is really near and dear to him, and then the rest are kind of like, we good. Like I do care for you. I'm gonna make sure you're good. But this is like, who's the main John, I guess.
I don't think he has one. I don't know. That's really interesting now. Now, the other thing too is to think about is, Nick Cannon also has lupus.
Right.
So that's also something to really think about when it comes down to him having all these children, because, the genes and all of that, right? So now, of course, they're still up in the air as to where lupus has to come from. My mom has lupus.
Right.
So some people say that it's genetic. Some people say it's environmental. Some people say it's a combination of both, But that is something to really, really think about at the same time.
So it's definitely can be passed down. Definite. Or it just depends.
Again, they're saying some scientists are saying that it's genetic. Some people are saying that it's environmental,
Right. Okay.
or a combination of both, right? But usually, if someone has lupus, or there's somebody else in your family that has either that or another autoimmune disease that is very similar to it.
Gotcha. What if Miss Williams, you had 10 siblings? Because you said she has lupus, much like Nick Cannon. What if Miss Williams had to push out 10 more U's?
Listen, that would have never happened.
I got lupus. I'm stopping when God say I need to stop.
Yeah, no.
Can you imagine that?
Not
Can you
at
imagine
all.
having a big sister who's 57?
So silly.
All right, let's move on to our Black History moment for tonight, man. Tonight I wanted to get into, we've all heard of this brother, man. If you ever picked up, I'm about to date myself, but I'm going to date us. If you've ever picked up
Throw me in the bush.
Ebony, because you be looking at me like we not the same age, and that'd be like trip. I'd be like, stop side-eyeing me like we ain't the same age, like you 20 years younger than me. If you've ever picked up Ebony or a Jet or any of those magazines from back in the day, you have heard of Gordon Parks. Mr. Gordon Parks was born in Fort Scott, Kansas in 1912. He was one of the greatest photographers of the 20th century, and he was a humanitarian with a deep commitment to social justice. He left behind an exceptional body of work that documents American life and culture from the early 1940s into the 2000s, with a focus on race relations, poverty, civil rights, and urban life. Parks was also a distinguished composer, author, and filmmaker who interacted with many of the leading people of this era, from politicians to artists to athletes and celebrities. Shout out to Mr. Gordon Parks.
Right. Mr. Gordon Parks.
I like that music you played when I went into that was kind of slick, Tosh. I heard that.
Yay, Tasha is with us tonight.
Tasha's
She
back. She's
surprised
showing out.
me.
She's behind
Yes,
the
that was
boards
a great
showing out.
surprise.
Are you paying attention, bro? We're going to expect the same energy from behind the boards. Tonight, we're going to talk about Gordon Parks. You making me change my voice up. All right, Tosh, throw him up there. We about to get into this conversation tonight. He was smooth, too. All right, Mr. Gordon Parks. All right, Shay.
Yes, yes. So,
What it do?
you know, you and I, we kind of be going back and forth through the week sometimes, talking about different things.
There he is, the OG.
Yeah.
Now show that young. There you go. That's the one that
Wow.
had the Nick Cannon issue. that version right there is the one that had out. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that man. I don't know about all that part.
So there was a Instagram video that popped up that I had shared with Eli, and I believe it was shared with me before as well by Corey Wilkerson. So we always have like these conversations throughout the week and just kind of get each other's opinion on stuff. And then a lot of this stuff too, we're going to be talking about at the Rebirth Live. That's coming March 25th. So if you have not gotten your ticket, please get your ticket at rebirthu.com. There's a limited amount of tickets and food will be included. So you do not want to be left out this conversation.
Will fish be on the menu?
Fish will not be on the menu.
Oh, let's start out.
All right. You know, fish
I
is
like
not,
fish.
yeah, but if, you know, like it needs to be like fresh fry right then and get it
Fresh
nice
out the
hot
grease.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah. So my uncle used to eat it. Let it cool off. He just put it right in his mouth. Like, damn, it came right out the grease. Just bite it.
So
Go ahead.
you got ADD.
He
this
said, let it cool
tonight.
down for. He said, let it cool down for what? Only damn fool want to eat some cold fish.
Lord help him.
All right, go ahead. Carry on.
Okay. Anyway, tonight we're actually going to be talking about how to navigate and embrace change in your relationships. And this title came about because of an Instagram video that we are going to actually share with you right now.
A lot of men think that when they wife us or when they give us what we want, right, the commitment, that we're going to switch up on them and become like not be their girlfriend. Because when you're the girlfriend, you're sexy, you're fun, right? And
because you have a goal, right? And once you reach that goal, it's like I can just be me. I can fart. So I can shit with the door open now.
So are we full of shit when we're girlfriends? Though?
Absolutely.
We're being fake
we're
then,
not,
right?
we're not showing our true self.
Okay.
Because the thing about life is when you get the goal, right? You say, okay, I want to be an actress. You go out here to LA, you get all these headshots done, you put all the work in, you just do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you start get the jobs, it's like, okay, yeah, you may show up late to work now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, you were going to be on time. And that's how it is relative to relationships, is that it's a goal there.
All right.
I like when women address these topics. And it's not some man then women are all jumping on us like, I like when other women sort of call other women out to a degree. So my question to you would be, who
Didn't you
comes-
just say you like when women call each other out?
I do, but I'm about to piggyback. About to insert myself all up in this thing.
All right.
So my question to you, who comes into the relationship more of their authentic selves in the beginning?
I
Is it
don't
the
think
man or
neither
the woman?
person. I don't think neither person comes in. I think everybody comes in with a representative.
No, that is true. But who has elements of them true selves more so?
Well, I'm gonna put it this way: who is most likely to fart first in front of you will be a man.
That is true.
It would be a man. I will say that I think that when it comes when we're talking about that and not representatives, then I feel that I don't know, man. In my experience, it has probably been more so. I can't say that though.
You just say it.
I was going to say I would say more so to men, but it really depends. Because I think that there's a level of that we bring as well as women, especially when it comes down to knowing what it is that we want. But then I think that there's a level when it comes down to being comfortable in your own skin and stuff. I think men may be more authentic when it comes down to that.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that like when we're in the beginning of the relationship, if we're visiting each other's home, I'm more likely to probably take a dump at your house first than you at mine.
Yes.
Cause what am I gonna lay there and my stomach be boiling? Like women will not go certain places. They
my
won't go. They
God.
won't go to a certain place with you in the
Exactly.
beginning. So which leads me to
won't.
which leads me at some point you do.
Go ahead. You
Which
can,
leads
you can
me
call my
to-
fiance up right now.
What you mean? You ain't ever pooped with him in the house? What are you saying?
Oh, in the house. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you
Get
have
off
you
of
sick,
me.
something wrong with you. You need to get your inside
Nah, I
checked
know
out.
you was talking about that, but go ahead.
Anyway, so which leads me to what I'm saying about men being more than authentic selves, not just for surface stuff like that. So I think men don't date with the intentions of, oh, I got to get husband up. You don't ever hear dudes saying that.
Right,
So
that's
they come
true.
into it with being who they are.
That's true.
Women present, and then they can kind of they'll play the game. You don't poop. You haven't pooped with him in the house.
Tasha said. Tasha said she thinks she farted first. Wow.
I think it
Tasha.
happens.
So Francie says men comes in more authentic. Priscilla said, "You got that right, Shay Berry."
Listen, let me tell you something real quick. When me and her first started dating, right? She had a bathroom in her old house back in Mississippi, right? It was a bathroom in there, but it was like the whole room was like open. It was a sunken tub, and there was a toilet with no walls. Nothing separated the rest of the room from the bathroom. So I go, if I'm there for a couple of days, I'm drinking brown liquor. You gonna get what you gonna get.
Oh Lord.
It's not a brown liquor, do you? Yo, I would go and I was like, you need a wall in this motherfucker. I go just sitting there like this, and somebody walk into the bedroom, they can just see me sitting right there.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm sitting over there with the Jet magazine. I'm like, can we get a half a wall? Let me get that little wall, at least let me be able to do this.
Right. Be able to peek around.
All I gotta do is do this. Who's at the door?
Wow.
Hold on, I'm making me forget my point. Oh, so sidetracked tonight. It's been a long day. I'm sorry.
Obviously.
So my point is, so men aren't trying to get husband up. So I think men come in being more their authentic selves off the top. Women present everything that a man tells a woman that he's looking for in a wife. If she's never met any of that criteria in her life, and she's never even desired to be those things, but now she wants to be a wife, she's gonna become every one of those things for the sake of that ring. I think this is my opinion. Now you're a woman, so tell me, because you recently engaged?
Yeah, but I think so. I would say that this time around for myself, I have been my most authentic self, because I ain't nobody got time for that, I think I also think that it comes with age. It comes with understanding you, your self-love, your own confidence, and all of that. And it's like, this is who I am. I am who I am. So I think I am more authentic now at the age that I am versus when I first got married, in my 20s. I think that the difference is understanding what it is and what I'm supposed to be as a woman, and a woman first and then a wife, versus what I was supposed to be as a wife first and then a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It kind of goes back to when I say how girls are raised. We are immediately, the first toy we are given is a baby doll, and we are practicing how to be moms and wives at a very early age, not even knowing that that's what we're doing, right?
Right.
And then the expectation that society had on us back then, I think it has changed now with this generation.
I definitely believe that.
Is that you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, and you get a husband, and then the child, and the white picket fence, and all of that other stuff, right? So it's just different now, because this time around, I'm already established. You know what I'm saying? So the choice to be in a relationship, the choice to be married again, is more of my choice and not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I do feel that I'm more authentic presently than I was at an earlier age.
So are there things that you say you feel like you're more authentic now? Are there things that you've done sooner in this relationship than you did in your prior marriage?
I already had self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm already happy. I didn't need someone to make me happy.
Right.
I was happy going into this relationship, and that's what makes it amazing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think we tend to look for someone to make us happy.
Right.
And that's the wrong thing to do, because, you know, if you're depending on someone to make you happy, number one, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of pressure you're putting on your spouse. And then if that person is not capable of upholding that all the time, and something happens where you guys split, when they walk away, guess what they take with them?
Mm-hmm.
Your happiness.
The happiness.
Because you depended on them for that, right? So, no, I walked in with already being happy, fulfilled, you know, having the self-love, having the confidence before even going into this relationship, before even meeting the person that I'm with now, you know. And I can't say that I knew who I was before, that I had the self-love, or that I was fully happy. No, I was looking for someone to complete me, because that is what society said.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not what it is. You need to be completed already before you go into a relationship.
You did see Sarah Jakes this weekend, didn't you?
Hallelujah.
You got a word tonight.
Yes, won't he do it?
Ooh, child.
What about you? What's the male perspective on that? You know what? Can you be serious for a
Give
minute?
it to you. Just had a thought. So Tosh, last Tuesday, me and Shay went to a party, right? You have to hear this.
What
And I'll
happened?
get back to the male perspective.
What happened?
So me and Shay are there supporting the homie. We're sitting
You
there
said
chilling,
you was
right?
not going to do this.
Tosh. Cause Tosh is here now.
Jesus.
Who knows when we're gonna see her
God
again?
forgive him before he even starts.
So Tosh, we're sitting there chilling. I said, "Yo, Shay, you're not gonna believe what I'm looking at right now." And I'm over here really trying to keep myself together. She was like, "What? What is it?" I said, "Just turn around and look." So Tosh, Shay, I need you to do the demonstration.
No, I'm not. I will not. I will
There
not
was a
take
dude
part in
there.
this. God has.
Tosh,
God,
well, I'm just reporting what happened. We're not making
no,
fun of it.
You weren't even supposed to be reporting.
Tosh, there was a dude there. He just had like a hand coming out his shoulder, right? He's walking by, and I was like, "What the?" So not that that's okay, you know, things happen, but then
He going to hell.
he had the drink in his hand.
Busting
I'm
it
like,
wide open.
Why does he have the drink in that hand? Bringing more attention to the hand.
So rude.
Why does he do that?
Priscilla, come get your husband.
We about to get back. We about to get refocused. But I just wanted to Shay. So Shay turned around. Shay was like crying. And she gonna tell me I'm wrong, but she was laughing so hard.
He was wrong. He was dead wrong.
Put your hand right here on my
No, I will not.
I gotta get the full.
I will not. I will not.
I'm like, why not in this hand? You got a whole full limb right here chilling. You just over here like this. You can't even turn it up. What are you gonna do? So you gotta do this.
Are you done? Are you done?
The strong hand. All right. So, what I was gonna say about men, you say from the male perspective. What happened to the music, Tosh? I really can't do the show without the music.
Oh my God, you are off the chain tonight.
That really happened. Did that happen?
Yes, it happened.
All right.
It
I'm
happened.
just reporting. We're on the radio. We report what we see, right? All right. So from the male perspective. Layer. No, never mind. There we go. I need the music. All right. So Shay. What? Are you with
What,
me?
Eli? Go
Are
ahead.
you with me? I hope I don't ever see him in the street. What if he slapped me with that hand? Like, he won't even hit me with the other. He hit me with the little hand.
He's gonna beat you down. Go ahead.
I bet it's straight. You gotta choke the shit out of me too with that little moment. I be assed out here. Somebody gonna definitely put me on World Star.
As they should.
World Star. If you hear that, you better start running because you know somebody about to get their ass whooped. That's the setup. So what was the question, Shay? I'm sorry.
I said, what is your perspective from of what you just asked me?
Oh, damn, that seemed like a long time ago.
You know what?
So here's what it. So I think that of course, I don't speak for all men. I want to make that, say that first. I'm trying to get myself together over here. I shouldn't have told that story. Lord, forgive me. Jesus be a fence around my soul. Or Allah, depending on how me and this Quran get down.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you tonight?
All right. I think that because men are not, like I said earlier, we don't come in saying, "Hey, I want to get married off the top," because we'll drag it out, and we want to be sure. Most men want to be sure. So we don't come in. I think most men don't come into a relationship saying, "Oh, I want to get married and I'm gonna find me a wife." Most men don't really do that. There are some. There's an exception to every rule, of course. But I think that we come in as our authentic selves. Maybe some things we won't necessarily do in the beginning, because we don't want to run you off, especially if we see value in you and the potential to be my mate, the mother of my children, my wife, or whatever. So there are some things we may or may not do in the beginning. Like you said, the representative shows up, but after a while, depending on who you really are, and that starts to shine through, you can still kind of maintain. If your authentic self is really a good person with a good heart, then a lot of times that will be enough. If you're a person that drinks a lot on the low, and now you're trying to match that from the woman that you think could have potential to be your wife, you're not going to be able to sustain that. So it just depends on what your vices are, like how you really think mentally, where you are emotionally. You like to talk about emotional intelligence, like where you are in those areas, I think, and what your life goals are.
Right.
I think all those things play a part.
So in the video, I believe they were talking about how with women, they were talking about how when men are dating women, they're being all sexy and all of that. Yeah. But then when the commitment comes and they become a wife,
talk about that.
They're saying that that goes away. And I'll I think that applies to both though. I do think that it's important to be able to keep that up. I don't think you should present as this, and that, and then once you are in a committed situation or the person decides to wife you, now you don't take care of yourself anymore. So I'm not like that.
Right.
And I want, if you were taking care of yourself when I was dating you, if you were going to the gym, if you said you worked out, if you had these certain eating habits or whatever, then that kept you looking and feeling the way that you did. Now, people change, absolutely, but I do expect you to continue to maintain yourself.
Right.
Don't get married and then all of a sudden, like, everything just goes out the wall because, hey, attraction is real.
Yeah.
Because I can no longer be attracted to you, just like you can no longer be attracted to me, right? So I think that we should have a obligation, not just to our partner, but to ourselves to maintain that. When you look good, you feel good.
That's true.
So
why does it? So I've heard this from men, and now that I'm an adult and I'm, my current life the way it is, I think there is some truth to, you used to hear older guys, and even in movies say, "Oh, don't get married, you're not gonna get any anymore." You know what I'm saying? That, and I'm not. That's like, we know this. You know that, but there are some people that kind of. Why does that happen? What, can you speak for women? Some women, like when you finally get the prize, which is the ring and the marriage and the wedding and all of that, what happens?
So you know what? So this is what I will say. No, I don't relate to that. But this is what I will say. I think what happens is that responsibility takes over. So you are now with someone that you may have been dating and having fun with and, being spontaneous and, it was like an escape, right? And then all of a sudden, now you're together and there's responsibility between you two. There's bills, right? There's children. Or if you're a blended family, now you got to deal with my kids and I got to deal with your kids, right? There are obligations and responsibilities that was once not there.
Right.
So when those things become, when they're involved, which this is a part of life.
Yeah.
But when it starts, you know, you now connected in other ways that you wasn't connected before. I was connected with you with fun, you know. When I thought about you, I thought about, you know, sexy time, romance, fun time, stuff like that. Not the electric bill, not picking up the kids from school, you know, not stuff like that, right? So, and I think this is also why people step outside of their marriage, because they miss that, and they start seeing other people for the escape. It's not that they don't love their wives or they don't love their husband.
Right.
It's because it's an escape, and they want to don't you know what? Don't you go off topic, and they want to explore that, you know. So I think that that's what happens. I think responsibilities, obligations come into play, and it causes people to not invest into the relationship or even invest into themselves like they did.
I agree. I think real life does get in the way. It has the potential to get in the way. But if someone's telling you, hey, this is what I need, this is what I miss. I have a friend that is currently going through a situation very similar. She just don't want to do it. It's a struggle to get some. Like, and you know, not that she's doing anything outside of the relationship. It's just that, you know, we've been together for a minute. It's kind of like, you know, I don't. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. He says if he doesn't initiate it, it doesn't happen. Or if he does, it still might not happen. It's just depending on where they are in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, that's tough right there.
So what I do hear some women say, and I will say this is, for them that work and then having to come home and still make sure the house is clean, dinner is done, and all of that stuff. By the time it's time to go to bed, it's just like I'm exhausted, right? And
Does
then
that kill your sex drive?
they're
All of that?
I think if someone is like really tired, see, women, you have to make love to our minds first, right? So if a woman is out there doing all of these things and then she comes home and she's still got to take care of the kids and, you know, take care of the house, cook and all that, and then she get in bed and now you're just another thing she got to do.
Oh, sheesh.
Right? Because you're not, no, I'm keeping it real.
That sounds horrible.
I know it sounds horrible, but if you're
Sure.
not mentally stimulating me throughout my day, like, you know, foreplay doesn't start when you get in the bedroom.
Well, when I call you, you say you busy. I call you back. I'm in a meeting. I send you a text. You don't respond for 3 hours. What am I supposed to do?
You know, hey, listen, I'm thinking of you. You know, I'm sending these messages. Hey, I just want to say that I love you, whatever. But I think that men have to learn how to romance throughout and not
Right.
just once you're in bed. It's like, okay, come on, girl, let's get it. Give me some, you know. It can't, you know, yeah, like we're not, no, you know. So it's, yeah, that has to change. So I think that might be some women, and I'm not
Well,
saying
that
for all
comes
women,
down
but I
to
think
communication.
sometimes that's a problem for females.
And this is not to make any excuse for men who may or may not be like making love to your mind all day long so we can make love physically later on. But just like you, we're busy. We're trying to figure out. And just being a black man, period, is stressful. Not even talking about once we get to work. We talking about from getting in the car, driving to work, getting out, getting into the job safely, getting back home safely. Like, I mean, that's a lot to always constantly deal with. And if you are a man that's really holding down or helping to hold down the household, when there's an issue in the home, whether it be finances, whether it be with the kids, and you have, so these are other things that you have to constantly be on top of too. Because when the money's funny, everybody's looking at daddy. Nobody's looking at mom. So these are like extra pressures that we deal with too. And I think that, yes, does there need to be better communication? Absolutely. But what's a better way to deal with a rough day? Than to, and I know I'm sounding real cavemanish right now, but I do agree with you, Shay, about, you know, stimulating your woman mentally, and that gets everything else stimulated. I hear you 100%. But yeah, I think sometimes we're not just there. Like, we're so primitive that we can just be ready without all of that other stuff that you mentally need to get ready.
So The one thing too that I think is missing is, and I'm realizing this just through what I, just through being a therapist, right, and working with couples. A lot of people, and I'm not going to say this is just as a man, that this is just a man thing, because I don't think it's just a man thing, but I do think that you see it more in men, does not understand what intimacy is.
I agree.
And they equate intimacy with sex, and that's not the case.
I agree.
Being able to create intimacy and having that space is so healing. You know what I'm saying? It's so healing. When you come home from a long day or a rough day or all of this stuff, sex may not be exactly what it is that you need. Yes, it's going to cause a release for you.
It doesn't hurt
Physically, but intimacy actually is what nurtures that wound. Intimacy of holding you and letting you know, hearing my heart be next to yours, letting you know that regardless of what the world did to you today, that you're in a safe space and I love you and I'm holding you and I'm here for you. Creating a level of intimacy is more healing than actually the physical act of sex. You know what I'm saying? And it's showing, that is really starting to show its head, especially in long-term relationships.
Right.
Because I think people that have been together for a long period of time have stopped creating those moments and stopped investing in what intimacy looks like. And intimacy may look different for everybody.
Right.
But it does not include sex. It can be a part of it, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean sex.
And everything you just said, I do agree with. But I think, again, I'm speaking from the male perspective. Not all men, but most men. Like everything you just said is like so deep and so it has layers to it. Most men don't have those layers or the ability to remove those layers back to get to that level of intimacy. You know what I'm saying? To get to like you say, intimacy to men is just to some men is just an act of. You know what I'm saying? We're being intimate, and then at the end of that intimacy, most men, they may or may not hold you after that.
Right.
But I don't think men don't necessarily, what you're saying, some men don't necessarily need what you just presented to be intimate, to feel that intimacy with a woman. And I think what you said is correct. I think most men don't know what intimacy is. And you have to also remember too, no one's taught us. What do men learn sex from?
Porn.
Watching porn. There's no intimacy in porn. What they dumbass friends are saying, oh, you do this, do that. Or what some old head who gave them misguided information. A lot of us didn't have our father there to say, listen, son, this is how you treat a woman. This is how you, most of us didn't have that. And I know this is, like, yeah, that's an age-old excuse, but that's real. And if you get your sex tips and your intimacy tips from watching, Mr. Marcus and Johnny Long, there's no intimacy there. I'm just saying.
I cannot
Cherokee the ass and Pinky. There's no intimacy there.
Jesus. So Corey Wilkerson, he agreed with what I was saying. Corey and I have had this conversation. Shout out to you, Corey. Where you been at, man?
What up,
Where
Corey?
you been at? Natalie Curry says, and again, she put this, I believe she was responding to what I was saying earlier. She says, preach, right?
I think she was responding to me.
She wasn't. That was already there before you. So Corey says, most men have not been taught the levels or type of intimacy.
Right.
Now, I don't actually... So here's a thought. Here's just a thought.
Okay.
Do you think that men are supposed to learn intimacy from their fathers, or do they learn it from their moms?
Ooh.
Because when I'm talking about creating that level of intimacy and that vulnerability, I also think that's a connection that a son can get from his mother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. So what does that look like? I have two sons.
Mm-hmm.
We are huggers. My son, my sons will come over and the most intimate kiss is a forehead kiss.
Right.
Both of my sons, when they kiss me on my forehead. And I never told them to do that. Like, I never say, hey, kiss me right here.
Right.
It was just something that they,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? And they kiss me, they hug me, and they say, Mom, I love you.
These young girls in trouble out here.
Right?
The forehead kiss is a problem.
So it's you know, it's definitely I do feel that it is something that can also be received by their mothers. And I also believe too, if there is a problem with a male son and his mom, most likely there is a problem with that person as they grow up as a man with women. If there is an issue there, some type of disconnect, something, because the relationship with their mom was not good.
Right.
So they tend to look at, you know, we can get, you know, into that. Corey Wilkins says, I can agree with that. Thank you, Corey.
Do you think that do you think they ever observed you being treated that way? Like that intimate kiss on the forehead, this is how they maybe observed you being loved at one point in time?
Oh, I think that plays a part in as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and this goes to what Natalie Curry said. Natalie said, what if you were not raised by either parent? And that's a very good question. I think it comes from what's modeled for you, right? So what you've seen, and not saying that what you see is what you become, because no, you have the opportunity to choose something different. But I do think that when we talk about relationships, if a person has not seen a healthy relationship and does not know what that looks like, then it was never modeled for them. Now, it doesn't mean that gives you the excuse to go out and trash people. You know, whether you're a female or male, it does not give you that reason to. But just because you didn't learn it as a child doesn't mean you can't learn it as an adult.
True. Absolutely. And men, we can, once we remove our ego from situations, because most men, we think we know every damn thing, especially when it comes to intimacy and women and sex and all of that. The average dude, you can't tell him anything when it comes to that. And so if we can remove our ego out the way, then yes, of course, we can become that person. And if we're open, if we're in tune with that person and we really want to please them, absolutely, men can do it. Somebody said, was it Natalie?
Corey
She says some women too, meaning, Natalie, elaborate on the some women too part. What were you saying?
I think she was responding to what Corey says. Most men have not been taught levels of type of intimacy.
Gotcha.
And she says some women too. Corey says, where did both of you learn intimacy?
Ladies first.
Really, E?
Oh, all right. This is a rebirth. You go right ahead.
I cannot with him. Corey, honestly, I would say that my intimacy I've learned from my grandmother and how she was to her children and me, as well as my mom. Now, when I'm saying this has nothing to do with any men being in their lives. It was how they treated their children and how they treated me. So I come from a family that love it's like we hold each other, we love each other.
Right.
We, some people, you ever had people that say, oh, I'm not a touchy person, like I don't come from that. Like my family, you around my family, they're gonna hug you, they're gonna embrace you and all of that. So I don't know anything outside of that. And I think it would be very weird and awkward for me to be involved with someone that could not create that for me. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to say that it came from my grandmother and my mom, right? What about you, E?
I grew up in a house with I love you, hugs, kisses, and even now, my siblings, we have our group call, our FaceTime group call every Sunday. And we're on there, the six of us, and we're I love yous and all of that at the end. You know what I mean? So no one's ashamed or afraid to display that level of intimacy. So yeah, definitely from my family, and I think the intimacy that I needed to learn as a man when it comes to women, I think I learned it actually from the women I dealt with who were more experienced than me and who taught me like, hey, slow down. You don't need to do. You know what I mean? How you.
That could have went either
But
way.
when you're a
go ahead.
younger dude, you know, when you're a younger guy, you know,
Yeah.
you're in a hurry. Everything's 100
You're
miles per hour.
excited.
You're
Yeah.
excited. And so you learn, you pick up things along the way from, you know, people that you deal with and that are more experienced than you. And it kind of, if you're a man with some sense and you know you need to be more open and open-minded to how to meet a woman in a certain place, then you learn these things.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things too, like if we look at this and we're talking about relationship and why relationships change and you know and all of that, it's going to change. It's because people change, right? We shouldn't be the same person that we was 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know, we really shouldn't. But some people are. Some people are. That's how I always did it. That's how mama, you know, y'all, and that's why you're going to continue to stay where you are, right? So, but even thinking about a job, when you go on a job interview, you know, you would go in there, you bust that job interview out, you the best thing that came in there, da 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 da. 6 months later, you done kind of relaxed a little bit. You coming to work a little bit late.
Chilling.
You know, it's just a different thing. You're not on it the way that you was. You're not hungry for it like you was in the beginning. And I think that's with everything, right? So we like to always back up certain things when we're talking about certain topics with research. So Psych Central says that changes happen because relationships, especially intimate ones, go through several stages as they develop. While this is happening, you and your partner may also experience stressful life events such as health issues, financial difficulties, and conflict with friends or family member. Basically, they're saying life happens. So sometimes life events are exciting, like moving to a new location or getting a new job, but even positive stressors can cause relationship problems. Stressors can negatively affect relationship satisfaction, whether the stress comes from within the relationship or from the outside. So have you ever heard someone say, or this may have been said to you, well, you change, you're not the same.
Right.
Like do you really want your partner to be the same person that you married in the beginning?
I think if you haven't changed, then yes, you do. If you're stuck in, we got married in 95 and now it's 2005. If you're still there, then of course, your evolution stands out to me. Like it's the equivalent of me, and I want to read some comments. It's equivalent to me when I go back home. And I have changed.
Yeah.
I'm not the person I was when I grew up in Arkansas.
Right.
But I almost feel like sometimes I have to make sure that they don't see that. Because it's like a really sensitive thing where if you grew up somewhere, you go away, then you come back, and you acting funny or you don't even sound the same. So it's almost one of those things. Like I'm just saying, in this instance, it could work against me, not in a relationship, but it's one of those things where I have to be mindful of not to maybe show that I've changed.
You know what?
And it's really weird.
No. I'm a disagree with that part. You know why? And I'm gonna tell you because this was something that Sarah touched on, and this is actually something that I'm gonna say that was spoken into my life, right?
Okay.
So you have changed, and you've changed. You're evolving, right? And you are in a different space, and not everybody is meant to go to that space where you are. Not everybody's going to understand. You have people that are watching, that will watch you, and they're watching you because they want you to succeed. They're watching you to win, and then you have people that are watching you because they they kind of hating, right? Like why him? Why this happened to him? Like, you know, they're not watching because they're excited for you. They're watching because they're jealous. Right. So you going back home and you being different and, you know, and all of that, you don't have to downplay that. Not saying that you got to go back and think you the best thing since sliced bread, but you don't downplay or dummy down what God has blessed you with and where he has put you at, the place in your life. For anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nor do you make someone feel bad because they're not in that space. But I don't think it's right for someone to expect you to kind of be a certain way like you were back in 1995 just because they haven't grown. That's not cool.
No, I agree with you. I just, you know what? and I often talk about that place because it's so near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what would probably bother me the most if people say, "Oh, you think you're better than us now,"
Right.
and that's not how I feel or think ever, because I wear it on my sleeve. I talk about it. It's me. But so I think maybe that's why I don't project any. I just kind of fall back into how we were growing up, and I think that's not. I think it's more so for them, not for me, because I know where I am.
You ever? So this would be a good example. Wow, it's 8:00 already. Darn. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. This would be a good example. Like you said, when you go back, do you kind of reminisce the same stories over
All
and
the
over
time,
again?
and they're just as funny as
And
they
it's
were
the,
back
and
then.
it's the same stories over
Absolutely.
and over again.
All the time.
Sometimes people are still stuck in that,
Right.
right? And they can't get beyond that. And because you have, well, every time you come back, it's that same story, and they don't want to embrace. And I'm not saying your people,
Right.
You know,
This is general.
this is in general. They can't embrace anything new. You can't even say, yo, I'm on a rebirth. Like I gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can't even
Yeah.
share stuff like that because guess what? They're not in that story.
And you know what's funny? I never talk about it. They bring it up to me. And you know what, people? I see your little radio show.
Little, right? Right.
But it doesn't bother me because I know where it's coming from. So and I've been going for so long and I go back so much. I know how to navigate that. So
Yeah.
it's not a thing. But let's read a couple of
Yeah.
comments before we get out of here.
So Francie, she says, so true. I have a friend who was on his 4th marriage. Good Lord.
She knows Steve Harvey.
And have no relationship with his mother. He treats her with so much disrespect. So far, none of his marriages has worked. That's very true.
Who is marrying a person who doesn't respect their mother? Like, that's a red flag.
A lot
number.
of people.
What?
A lot of people. Exactly.
Crazy. If he talks to her crazy,
Yeah.
what you think you gonna get?
Yeah. Corey says, sometimes your blessings irritate them. God will bless you to help elevate them, E. That's right. You better preach. Corey said, he says, I agree with you, E. Opening the door, conversation, listening, sitting down to eat, etc. Yeah. He says, bring that on March 25th. Bring that example to the Rebirth Live. So
I will.
yeah. So in closing, guys, this definitely could go on. Maybe we need to do a part 2 with this because I think it's a really good conversation.
I think we need a couple on here that's been together for a minute too. They could really add so much to that. Not a couple that's beefing and bickering and they're gonna fight in the parking lot afterwards, but a mature couple who's been, been through some things and they could speak to this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, how about we just do it on March 25th at the Rebirth Live 3.0?
Talk about that.
A conversation with your brothers. We are going to be live again March 25th at Revive. So make sure you get your tickets. Go to rebirthu.com. Get your tickets now, guys, because we have a limited amount of tickets, and once they're sold out, they will be gone. So, girls, this will be a great girls' night out. Guys, bring your fellas. You're going to have the opportunity to interact and ask questions. We are going to be having a network and mingle. There will be food served. Not just appetizers. We will have food. And we will have some music. So make sure you get your tickets at rebirthu, the letter U.com. The tickets are $40. And it starts at 6 p.m. on March 25th. Okay? Also, we have the I keep saying that. Rediscovering Her virtual group is going to be happening on April 6th. So make sure you can go to rebirthu.com and also register for that. Rediscovering Her. Ladies, this is for you. Ladies, if you have lost your identity, if you have lost who you are, somebody says, well, who are you? What do you do? And your answer is, well, I'm a mother, or I'm a therapist, or I'm whatever you do as a profession, this is what you are, and I'm a wife. Who are you? You. Come find her. Join me on April 6th, rediscovering her, finding your identity, walking in your purpose. And that is only $25 for you to register for that. So we are excited about all the things that are coming up. I mean, God has truly been blessing us, and I give him all the praise. And I also thank you guys for supporting us every week. Eli, you know, you're a blessing as well with all your craziness, and those that are behind the scenes, Tasha LaQueen, Jen Marshall, you know, all of you guys, our families that support us every week when we come out here and when we're in the community doing things and stuff like that. Our families are holding us down. Priscilla, thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you to my mom for always, you know, tapping in and supporting everything that I do, and my children, Xavier and Bryson.
The listeners.
The listeners,
viewers.
absolutely.
You guys are
absolutely.
Listen, thank you. Like Shay said earlier, thank you for just taking an hour of your night every Monday night and tuning in, tapping in with us, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate
absolutely. I want to leave you guys tonight, you know, something to think about when it comes down to relationships. Navigating relationships with intimate partners, friends, and family members is probably one of the most challenging and complex aspects of the human experience. So we're not just talking about romantic relationships, we're talking about even family and friends, right? So although it's natural for change to happen in relationships, sometimes it can be difficult for one or both partners to understand why and what to do about it. The one thing I always say, nothing is certain but change. It's going to happen. So the resulting frustration and conflict may make you feel like your relationship issues are impossible to overcome. The good news is, if you spend some time in understanding the root cause of relationship change, you can learn ways to work through it together. Communication, people. Communicate. Listen is also part of communication. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. We will see you again next Monday at 7 p.m. Have a blessed night. Get those tickets, rebirthyou.com. You got to be in the building.
Peace.
Peace.
We've got something to share. We're really proud of our product and are excited to make it available on our website. Check it out now. We've got something to share. We're really proud of our product and are excited to make it available on our website. Check it out now.